And perfect, now we're live. So, to start today's class, I just want to mention that, we're going to be talking about difficult words today, or words that maybe you haven't heard of in a long time, something new, maybe. So this will be very good for your vocabulary, which is exciting. And I also want to mention that this week and next week are a bit different for us. I am going on vacation on Sunday, and so next week I'm not going to be here. So our schedule is going to change. So that means this week we have today's class, Wednesday's class at normal hour, and then a new class on Friday, which is 2:30 Spain time. So Ken, 30 minutes before Wednesday's normal class.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that should be on the Intengo website. Obviously, I'll be posting on Friday as well, just so that everyone knows. Then next week, there will be no class on Monday or Wednesday because I am going to be out of the country. So that's kind of the different thing for this week. So also with Christmas and the holidays this month, I've done a little change or something, I think, for another week. I want to say Christmas Day, the 25th, is on a Monday. So I think I've put that class on the Friday before as well. So just so that you know, December is going to be a little bit different, but that's about it. Okay?
Okay.
Perfect. Well, now saying that, I decorated my house for Christmas this weekend, so I'm very excited that my Christmas tree is up. And so that is it for now. So, any questions? So first we're going to start out by looking at some difficult words. I shouldn't say difficult, but maybe not very common words. Okay? And so what I'll do is I will go ahead and get my and I'll just share it with everyone. So one moment. All right, there it is. And share. So it looks like you can see this now. So pronunciation. So it's a little bit of pronunciation, vocabulary, etc. All right. So it says read the words and their definitions and listen to how they are pronounced. Repeat the word. So I'm going to read this, and then I will have each of you read, if you want, the definitions and the example. Okay, then I'd like us to think of examples that will help us remember. Okay, so this word here is belly ache. All right, this actually means two different things. In English, we have for our phrasal verbs the literal meaning and then sometimes the figurative meaning. In this case, belly ache, well, in the opposite case, belly ache could mean you have a tummy ache or a stomach ache. So a lot of different words here. This means that your stomach hurts. Okay, you're not feeling well. Maybe you ate something that's not good or something like that. So in this other case, this other context here, it's informal meaning to complain. Okay. So, yeah, it just basically means to complain. And this is a verb, as it says here at the beginning, so that will help you. Sentence. So, Ken, why don't you read this example in bold for us, okay?
Okay. Stop belly aching and get on with your work.
Exactly. So, I'd like to think of an example. Is there any example that you can think of or situation in which someone complains in which we can use the word bellyache and not complain?
Sometimes internet comment section are full of belly aching comment.
Okay. Well, I would use that in a slightly tiny different structure. I would say
Okay.
There is a lot of belly aching online, for example. I like to
Yeah,
make it simple.
that's right.
Mm-hmm. Good, Jair. Do you want to think of an example of belly aching? Something that means complain.
I think it's when a person is intended something that isn't real,
That's
that
true.
is not happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could happen too. Someone who likes to bellyache might invent or make up some kind of situation in order to complain. So that could definitely happen. So we could say there are a lot of bellyachers out there. Ooh, my computer does not like bellyachers. No, let me try this. No. Well, my computer doesn't like the word bellyachers, but bellyachers would be the people who complain. So I maybe have invented or made up that word, but yes, lots of people out there who like to complain or maybe lie. So good. So perfect. What I think we should do is maybe look at the next word because later we're actually going to review all of these words as well. Okay. Next word here is grievance. Okay, this is a noun. And it means formal meaning. So formal in this case, the last word was informal. Formal meaning a complaint or strong feeling that you have been treated badly. Okay, so this example, Jair, could you please read this example?
He still carries grievances about his previous job.
Perfect. Great pronunciation. Grievances. This ending is difficult to pronounce, and you did a great job. So that's good. So he still carries grievances. So it's not good. So, maybe he's thinking of bad feelings or, about different complaints that happened while he was at work, right? At his other job, his last job. So, what kind of, sentences can we think of in this case? Grievances.
Um, when the employer uh, go to the employee go to the employer and, complain about the, the extra time he worked.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Okay, good.
the employer treat him how it is not because the time is the right.
Okay, good. Yeah. So this could be, if an employee says to the employer, hey, I've got some grievances here at work. I want to talk to you about them. So that would be a formal way of saying that. Absolutely. Very good example. Let's see. Ken, can you think of anything for this? Have you gone through this experience?
Yeah, sure. I
Yeah, you've
think
had some grievances. For example.
yeah, I think holding grievance is not so productive. So sometimes we need to let it go.
Okay, yeah. Um, and that's part of starting from scratch. I think we saw this
Mm.
to start from scratch. Maybe, whoops, scratch. Sorry, the R. To start from scratch means to begin again, to start from nothing. And so, of course, when you leave a job and you have some grievances, you obviously should think about something else and not worry about those things. So you can start fresh, we say.
Mm.
Start
Mm.
fresh. So what would happen if you were in a situation in which you had some really, really bad feelings about your old job, and all of a sudden you see your old boss, maybe at a restaurant? What would you do? Would you say hello to your boss or would you ignore? Should I not record this?
Uh, as I said, just let it go. Kind of, I improvise, but
Mm-hmm.
do something according to the situation.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. I think I would be probably the same or I would feel the same as well. So, just kind of say hi and just continue. You don't have to make small talk. What is small talk?
Like we did at the start of the class, you know, talking
Very
for the
simple.
icebreaker. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the
icebreaking. Yeah,
icebreaker. Mhm.
yeah.
Definitely. Jair, can you talk to us? What is small talk? What's your definition of small talk?
Small talk. I think it is a, a small phrase. Like me, I don't talk so much. I am more introspective, and
Okay.
I, I talk a little, very, very little.
Mm-hmm. Good, yeah. And small talk can be many different things as well. So, it's maybe the weather and it, let's see, the weather, um, maybe about work, little tiny things, how you're doing that day, things like that. What kind of small talk do we not mention to, let's say, I don't want to say strangers, but to unknown people? So, for example, if I don't know you, what am I not going to talk about in small talk? Does that make sense? There are certain topics we don't talk about when it's small talk. Do you know which topics?
I try to learn what is your meaning
Okay.
about
Well,
the team. I don't
okay.
know the question.
Okay. So small talk is what we were saying earlier about the weather. We say, "Oh, how are you doing? How's your day? What have you done? Did you eat lunch? Did you have breakfast? What did you eat?" Things like that. Very everyday life situations. All right. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yes,
Okay.
understood.
So, in some cases in English, we do not talk about certain topics. Which topics do we not talk about? So, we say small talk, we can talk about the weather, how you feel, food, etc. Okay, what topics should you not talk about when you don't know the person very well? And I think we had a
Uh,
class with this. Yeah?
I never talk about uh, your age, your or sex life like that.
Mm-hmm. Good. Anything else? Ken, I think we had a class about this a while ago now, a couple months.
Yeah. Also income,
Yep.
and yeah. Also, I think kind of sensitive issues because people sometimes people separate the opinion pro and cons. Even
Mm-hmm.
sports match, it happens. Some honest sports fans.
Yeah.
Maybe I avoid such topics too.
No, I definitely agree with that. Some sports people you don't want to have a discussion with because it could get out of hand. So oops.
Yeah. Also politics. Yeah, such kind of black and white opinion kind of thing happens on
Exactly.
politics. Yes.
I think politics is the first one that comes to mind is you do not talk about politics or religion with someone that you do not know. If you are comfortable with the person, you've known them for a while, and then maybe you can say, hey, what do you think about this topic? That obviously is someone that you trust or that you know well enough in order to talk about that and see what happens. Hopefully nothing bad happens, because you never truly know how a person is going to react. So good. Okay, so that was small talk. Again, we got a little off track here, but that's okay. So this last one here on this page is, it's an idiom, okay? So kick up a fuss. This is not something that I would actually probably use. I would use kind of a different saying. So this means to show anger about something that isn't particular, and this necessary should not be capitalized. I don't know why it is, but it is. So to show anger about something that isn't particularly necessary. So Ken, can you read this example for us?
He kicked up a great big fuss about his employee being 5 minutes late.
So do we have any questions about this? Is he actually kicking something?
No.
No, he's not. This is just an idiom. It means, you know, even though kick means to kick, something like kick a ball in football, etc., it is not physical in this case. This is just an example of an idiom. So, in different words, what other words can we use that mean the same thing as kick up a fuss?
To complain?
Okay, yeah, I would say complain is a good word. Jair, do you have any examples, any ideas?
I think it's a lack of respect.
That's actually really good. I hadn't thought about that. That's perfect. A lack of respect, absolutely. I mean, maybe this person, the employee who was 5 minutes late, had a terrible accident this morning, or something happened at home. There's lots and lots of things that could happen that you never really know. So I like that example. To kick up a big fuss. In my example, I might just say he was frustrated, but physically, you know, you can see it physically. Maybe he hit his desk with his, fist, and he, you know, boom, like that. He's a kick up a big fuss, and he was complaining out loud to other people. So that's very good. Let's see. So, what about some examples? When was the last time you saw someone kick up a big fuss? When was the last time you saw someone?
I don't remember nothing.
No, maybe you can think of a different example. For example, I'm sure yesterday my dad kicked up a big fuss about the American football team he watched that didn't win the game. So I don't even have to think about, I don't even have to talk to him. I know that happened. So he was frustrated. He was angry. And it's not necessary. It's just a game. But that happens. So any other examples that we can think of is when someone might kick up a big fuss?
Sometimes on the internet nowadays, kind of, big kicking up a fuss thing happens kind of because of scandal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even though it's a very personal or not so serious scandal, many people attack that person.
Exactly. I've seen it multiple times with famous people and their babies, and how people are, you know, commenting poorly on something that happened, and it's like, come on. You know, for 1 second in which the picture was taken, something that wasn't exactly perfect, you know, that's life. People, we're just humans, all of us. So you're exactly right. A lot of people kick up a big fuss about stupid little things, basically. So good. Well, perfect. Why don't we continue on to the next page here? We've got some more to take a look at. on at somebody. Oops, oops, oops. And I'm going too fast. Now I'm going very slow. Okay, good. So to go on at somebody. All right, so this is a phrase. It says to constantly complain to someone about their behavior. Go on at somebody. So Jair, I think it's your turn. Can you read this example for us?
Her parents went on at her for not having brought up results in her exam.
Exactly. To go on at somebody also means to not only constantly complain, but almost, I'm wondering if we know the word blame. To blame someone, or there was another word I'm sure that I can think of. But good. Do you have any questions about this? To go on at somebody?
For example, when my grandchildren is always late to go to the school, he always have a complaint about somebody, not himself.
So he always goes on at somebody about them being late, but never about him being late. That's very true. That's what happens when kids are young, or children, people are young, is that they like to blame or complain about everybody else when it's not, and then they are not the main problem. It's, well, they do it too. I think all of us, when we're younger, do this, but we need to take some responsibility. And definitely, so to go on at somebody, it would be good for maybe you to go on at your grandchildren, and say, hey, you need to be more responsible. You need to go to school on time. It's very important, obviously. So that's good. Ken, do you have any examples, questions, or comments?
Yeah, maybe sometimes people parents sometimes go on at somebody to their kids. Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's for a reason, a specific reason, but
Right.
all right, well, good. Let's see. How about the next one? It says to make a noise about something. Oh, no. Actually, I have one tiny question. I want to talk about the preposition use here. It says go on at. We have two prepositions together, which does happen sometimes. To me, why this is okay to have two prepositions together?
When the person don't assume their mistakes, I think it is very bad for the society.
I absolutely agree with you, and we need to stop that in younger children and improve that nowadays. Because I think a lot of young children all over the world, I don't think it matters which country. So I think it's very important, yes, to stop children from taking control. So good. Ken, do you know why that I have two prepositions here? Go on at somebody.
Maybe because it's an idiom. It's an idiom. So it could be a rare case, but it's an idiom, so that's okay. I don't know what.
Okay, well, I'm just going to explain on that. Go on basically means to continue. So if you're talking and I interrupt, so no, go on, sorry, continue. So let's go on. And then you have to do it at a person. It's in the direction of someone. So that's kind of what we're talking about, why there's two different together, but they're kind of used separately depending on the phrase. Okay? So now let's take... Yeah?
Gone is give the continuation to something.
Exactly, and that's what they're saying here. When you go on at somebody, you're yelling. Yelling, shouting, screaming at somebody. Whoops, screaming.
So maybe go on is a phrasal verb, so
Mm-hmm.
go on at is almost like a phrasal verb. That's why it's okay.
Well, the only thing I'm going to say is it's to go on at, and then it would be somebody. Somebody. And I don't know how
Okay.
how they abbreviate somebody. But that's the full structure because we also can say go on about plus, a story, for example. They can go on about Roman history for 6 hours. So we do need another preposition, but obviously that preposition changes the next word.
Okay.
Okay. So it's at somebody, at a person, or about something, basically. Okay. So about plus something. But yes, the go on is the same. As I said, to go on, continue speaking, please. And then if you want to add more information, then the preposition will depend on what you're going to say. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Well, great. So it says to make a noise about something, to talk a lot or complain about something, but not too strongly. So, Ken, I think it's your turn. Can you read this example for us?
Okay. He's been making a bit of noise about having to do overtime.
Okay, so this can be taken literally as well. To make a noise about something is, maybe he's talking to other employees and complaining. All right, and then someone else says he's been making a bit of noise about having to do overtime. Does
Okay.
that make sense?
So almost like the person talking behind.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So not direct complaint.
Not directly complaining to the person who would say this sentence. Okay. So for
Okay.
example, can you tell Jair you're complaining about over doing overtime or doing homework or working or something. Okay. And then Jair would tell me, oh yeah, Ken's been making a bit of noise about something. So it's for the situation. It's not, you would never say, I'm going to make a bit of noise about having to do overtime. In the first person, you would not use this. It's always kind of from an outside perspective.
Okay. I see.
Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
All right, good. Jair, does that make sense for you? It's a little bit confusing at times.
Yes. For example, when I am with somebody in the elevator hall to down my building, and while the elevator not arrived yet, the person talking a lot. I I I like to talk him them a bit more less noise
Less noise?
because
Okay, that's, yeah.
uh, because my neighbor is is sleeping his time is overtime is late in the night.
Exactly. And that's the more literal meaning about this, to make a noise about something. That's more of the literal. So, hello. Is your name Cow, or can you tell me how to pronounce your name?
Yes, Kuminara is my name.
Okay, your sound is a little off. It's very digital. Can you repeat your name?
Harry.
Harry.
Is my name. Yes. So when you mean how many
Okay,
times
capitalize it.
wow.
So Harry is what we should call you?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, good. Well, we are talking today about different uncommon words. So we're just going to continue. We're looking at to make a noise about something, which means to talk a lot or complain about something. So I think the last time I made a noise about something, and again, we wouldn't use it in this context, but Ken, do you know of a situation in which someone made a noise about something? My mom made a noise about my dad yesterday, for example.
Yeah, that's it.
That's a
Yeah.
true story. How about a different situation?
Different. I think it's happening in the workplace too.
Yeah, I think a lot of it.
Yeah, right.
Also for Christmas and the holidays or something they can say, oh yeah, this uncle is making a bit of noise about the holidays and having Christmas on this day, for example. I know sometimes it's always it can be difficult to decide when there's lots of people involved.
Right.
So good. Perfect. Well, I want to look at this last one here. I thought this one was relatively interesting. We pronounce whinge. Okay, whinge. Think of a different word that I'll mention after. Okay, so this to whinge actually means to complain about trivial things and quite childish. Do we understand what trivial means? What's trivial? Any idea? Maybe due to the context or anything like that?
Kind of very, how can I say, small problem.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go with those. Trivial is very small, not very important. So, and then childish? What is childish? Quite childish in not mature. Yeah, I definitely like that one. So childish is the opposite of mature. Why isn't this? Here we go. Childish means basically acting like a child, and a child is not mature. So that's what they're referring to here. Okay. Oh, let's see. Harry, childlike. Why don't you, Harry, go ahead and read the sentence we have in bold? Okay, could you read that example for us? If you're nope, okay. Nope, that's fine. That's fine. Like I said, it did sound digital, so that's fine. Let's see. Jair, I think it's your turn then. So could you please read the example?
The whinge.
Yes, of wind, please.
Oh, for heaven's sake, please stop winging. It is only a bit of spilled wine.
Okay, good. So there's three things in this sentence here. So we've, oh, for heaven's sake. Can anyone tell me in other words what that means?
It's a question for the heavens. God, for God, what is you are you making?
Yeah, for heaven's sakes. Oh, that's crazy. It's kind of asking what is going on here to an extent. So good. And then it says, please stop whinging. It's only a bit of spilt wine. This last part, only a bit of spilt wine, is also an idiom. Does anyone understand from the context what that could mean? It's only
I don't know how to explain. I know in my idiom, but in English, I don't know.
That's okay. That happens sometimes, and I don't speak Portuguese. If it were Spanish, I could do it, but but don't worry. So, Ken or maybe Harry, if you want to type, it's only a bit of spilt wine. What does that mean? And it's okay if you don't know, you can take a guess.
Sounds like it's a trivial thing, small problem.
Exactly, a small problem. And what they're saying is only a bit. It's only a little wine that was spilled, basically. So it's not a big problem. I don't have any idea. That's okay. So it's only a bit of spilled wine. It's only a tiny little problem. It's okay. Okay. So when do people whinge in the world? I would say whinge. Let's see. When little children are told they can't eat chocolate all day or for lunch or something like that, they might whinge at that. Any other examples that we can think of? Whinge. No, no other examples? Well, that's okay. Well, the word I was actually thinking about is actually the word whine, not the wine that's in the sentence, but this whine means to complain. So I wanted to mention that, to complain. To whine as a child is, but mom, I don't want to do this. I want to do this instead. Or I don't want to go to school today. It's that voice as well, that tone of voice. They like to complain, they like to whine about things. Any other questions or comments about this word whine? Yes, it is pronounced the same as wine in the bold word in the last sentence, but it's different.
Also, is it the kind of onomatopoeia?
I don't think it's that. This should be, it's either a homophone or a homonym. And I think it's a homophone because it sounds the same, even though it's spelt different.
Okay, not the onomatopoeia.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Good. Any other questions or anything? No?
Just keep going.
Okay. Well, let's continue on. We'll go on to the next page here. Oops. Okay, so this is for pronunciation. So I know, Harry, you weren't here for the beginning, but that's okay.
Yes.
So, not a problem. How about Jair? Can you please read the first word for us? Do you remember how to pronounce it?
Bellyache.
Very good. Bellyache. Ken, can you do the second one for us?
Grievance.
Good. What about the third one, Jair? Just sorry, Harry, you weren't here for those.
Pick up.
Pick up first.
Exactly. Good. Kick up a fuss. Let's see. The next one isn't difficult. I'll do that one. To go on at somebody. These are very common words. It was more of the meaning. How about, well, the next one as well, to make a noise about something is very simple for pronunciation. And the last one, who wants to try the last one? Everybody? Okay. Kind of, but not exactly. Jair, can you help us?
Whinge.
Whinge, very good. That's perfect. Whinge, yep.
The cow sounds is very
Very digital, right?
Not good.
No, Harry sounds like a little robot today, I think. Maybe for next time we can get it fixed, so that's fine. Okay, so now these are sentences that we should read, okay? It says, can you say the words naturally within a sentence, not just alone? All right, some of them are tricky. What does the word tricky mean?
Not straight. Usually
Okay,
difficult.
Yeah, exactly. Difficult would be the good word there. So perfect. So Jair, why don't you read the first one for us? Letter A.
Hey, the girls were juggling at Grandma's grievance.
Okay, so that's not a good situation. Good pronunciation. What is giggling? What does giggling mean?
Giggling is when the person is make a big noise, glad to some situation.
Exactly. Would you like to give us an example of what it sounds like, Jair?
No,
No, well, you kind of did it. Hee. They're kind of laughing at the
exactly.
situation. Exactly. That's no problem. Well, good. So it's giggling. And like I said, this isn't a very nice situation because they're basically making fun of their grandma, and that's not nice. Not like this. How about, well, any questions in this sentence? And why don't you tell us, well, why don't you tell Harry what grievance means? Do you remember? The pop quiz
Here,
today.
what is your
Yes.
question?
Yeah, can you explain grievance? Because Harry wasn't here.
Ah, okay, I got it. Yes, a grievance is I think it's to complain
Mhm.
something. Usually very serious complaint or the feeling of complaint in our mind.
Mhm.
It's kind of heavy feeling.
All right, let's go back to that. Oops. Here we go. Grievance. Oops. Stopped. A formal meaning of a formal meaning, a complaint or strong feeling that you have been treated badly. Okay. So in this case, treated very well, which is not good, and the girls were laughing. And that's actually a grievance in general because the girls are being mean. So, different one. Let's see. Jair, can wait. Read B for us.
Ben's big very aching makes me want to shout at him.
So good. Ben's big belly aching is that's the difficult part, the pronunciation here, but very good. What is belly aching? Do you
Very
remember?
aching is also it's an unnecessary complaint.
Very good. Yep, so Ben is just complaining about anything and everything, and it's annoying, which makes this person want to shout at him.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Good. All right, I don't think there's really anything else here that we need to talk about. So, Jair, can you read letter C, please?
See, clicking up a fuss is sometimes unnecessary.
Good. So what are they talking about here? What are they explaining?
I think it is an impatient person with some situation.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Exactly.
in the day by day, we can, in front of situation, we need to be patient with others.
Absolutely. So, for example, a child comes home from an activity and dinner is 5 minutes late, and the child is kicking up a fuss. It's definitely unnecessary. For 5 minutes,
Yeah.
there's no need to complain. So, right? We can wait 5 minutes. So good. All right, Ken, why don't you go ahead and read D for us?
When my parents go on and on at me for something, it doesn't make me change my mind.
What are they talking about going on and on at me?
Nagging, to nag something.
Ooh, that's a very big word. I don't think that's super common. So can you explain that? What's nagging?
Nagging is how can I say, complain, go on, yeah, go on complaining a lot. probably. Or
Exactly.
maybe to say something continuously. The same thing repeatedly or something like that.
Yes. So this is basically they're going on and on and on and on and on and on. And it's boring, this person that's talking. When my parents go on and on at me, they continue and continue speaking like you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, you should do this, etc.,
Right.
etc. So very good. Doesn't make me change my mind. You're not going to change their opinion, which might not be a good thing. Sometimes parents are right, sometimes parents are wrong, but in general, children should probably listen to their parents. So,
May I?
yeah.
I think this sentence, after something, comma is more understandable to me because the meaning.
Do you mean
When
that go on and on?
when my parents go on at me for something, comma, it doesn't make me change my mind.
All right. I would agree with that. Yeah, to separate the sentence a little bit to give it kind of that other
Right.
part. Yeah, I agree with that. Any other comments, questions, doubts? Okay. So let's see. Jair, is that correct? Wait, Ken?
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just counting, making sure it was your turn. So go ahead, Jair. Can you read letter E, please?
If I make a noise about something, I feel like I'm doing something about it.
All right. So is this maybe true, not true? Do you agree or disagree with this sentence?
If I make a noise about something, I feel like I'm doing something about it. Yes, I'm thinking about something. I make a noise or a bit noise or a strong noise.
Okay.
I'm thinking.
Okay, good. Well, I think it kind of depends on who you're talking to. So if I say, "Hey Ken, I'm really upset about my hours at work. I don't like them." Well, it's not going to do anything for the situation if Ken isn't my boss. So it depends on, I think who you're speaking to. Because you could just be complaining in general to a really good friend, but it's not going to help the situation. Do you see what I'm saying? So it depends on the actual person. Okay, good. Perfect. Any other questions about this one? No? All right. Well, we already discussed this quite a bit. So the last one, Ken, it's your turn, right? Why don't you go ahead and read it for us? Lots of W's in this one. Good luck.
Okay. Wishing for Wendy to not whinge is wistful.
Okay.
What? Well, I don't know the meaning. What is wistful?
I know, and I don't think anyone does. Jair, have you seen that word wistful before?
No, wistful. No.
Okay. So it's kind of in the context of is hopeful, is wishful. They're hoping. They're wishing for Wendy not to whinge. They don't want Wendy, I can't even speak. They don't want her to complain. Okay.
Hope. Hope. Okay.
Kind of, yeah. It's kind of unnecessary only because at the beginning of the sentence it says wishing for Wendy. I mean, wishing obviously is it's the verb and the subject in this case. Wishing for Wendy to whinge, to not whinge is wistful. I didn't know we were doing tongue twisters today. So, whinge is Wistful. I would say there's a say in English. It's where is it? Wishful thinking. And that just means that you're hopeful. That you want something to happen or not happen. Okay? So they're saying it's kind of all these idioms are coming, like strong. They're hoping that she doesn't complain. Is the general context. Any more specific questions? I'm not sure else how to explain it.
So that wish for Wendy is gonna how can I say?
It's the
It's gonna
subject.
work or
No.
I mean wishing for Wendy is maybe wishful maybe sounds like negative probably. So
well,
that
they're hoping
wish
that when
not
Wendy
gonna
isn't. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. That wish is not gonna achieved or
Well, they're not sure. It's actually Wendy. There's no real person. Only Wendy is in here. It's, for example, I was at a restaurant the other day, and there was a group of very loud people behind me. Even the owner had said something to us. He said, well, they're very loud, and we said, yeah, they are. So wishing for them to be quiet is wistful. So I'm hoping, it's basically a wish that it's not going to come true, but that you want it to happen.
okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it's somebody else hoping that Wendy doesn't complain. Is just a wish. It's just fantasy, basically. Okay. So quite confusing, quite difficult sometimes to understand these. So good. Well, why don't we take a look? There's one last page here. Come on. Okay, so it says you have 1 minute to decide which of these two are correct. So let's actually make it. I don't. Nope. Sorry. This is going to be nothing. This is just a review because they're the same. Everything is spelt the same. They're in the same order. Correct. Yeah. So this is nothing. So it's just a little review about the words that we saw today. A double review. So any questions about these that we need to talk about before we finish for today? No? Okay.
No,
Basically, what it looks like here is that they were going to play a game and have one, be correct and the other one incorrect, but they're all correct. So that's not. So let me stop the screen share for a second so I can say goodbye to everybody. Hello again. I just want to mention next class. August scheduled, just a second, on the 29th, so Wednesday. We're going to talk about work trip tips. So if you do have to travel for work, it would definitely be a good class for you to join. We'll talk about a little bit of travel, vocabulary, things like that. So we'll do that. And again, this week is different because I'm going on holiday next week. So Friday we'll have an extra class this week. And then next week, nothing until Saturday. Okay, so I come back on Friday. So Saturday I'll have that class. All right. Again, all of this should be on the Tango website. So hopefully you can take a look at that as well. And I'll be posting these on Facebook as well. If you are in that group, you can see those right before class starts. I'll post a link in Facebook. So perfect. Well, yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Well, thanks, Harry, for joining us. Thanks, Jagger. It's been a long time since we've seen you. And Ken, as always, thank you for joining and being a part of every class. So, great. Well, everyone have a great day. I hope you had fun and don't have any grievances for today. Don't complain any today, okay? All right. Well, have a great day, and we will hopefully see you on Wednesday, all right?
Okay. Thank
All
you very
right.
much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.